modern era, there's a growing desire to enhance our offerings and technique. Almost every bar wants to serve a well-crafted cocktail. There's no easy way to improve the repertoire, the offerings of your bar, but there are some simple ways to do so. If you're looking for one product category that can instantly up the production value and up the reputation of your bar, you want to look right to gin. Gin is a spirit that we need in our repertoire, but it is often overlooked when we're crafting the drinks that we think are going to be the most crowd-pleasing. But here's the deal. Introducing your guests to gin cocktails is a transformative moment, and it's going to increase their enjoyment of what they're drinking and their trust in the person that's offering it, and that's you. When you give someone a well-crafted gin cocktail for the first time, they are going to be your spirit friend for life. Gin is intentional. In the States, gin is never a default. If it's on a menu, it's because it was put there on purpose. When someone comes in and orders something with gin, it's because they've had it before. It's rarely something people order sight unseen or as a first initial drink order. If they ask for it, you can bet that they've had it before, and that's important. My fascination with gin as a bartender comes from its transformative qualities. When it's paired with citrus, with aromatized wines, with bitter liqueurs, with fruited liqueurs, something happens that's more than science, it's alchemy. A gin cocktail is always going to be more enjoyable than the sum of its parts. I feel like gin is the true spirit of mixology because what you start with and what you end with are going to be so different. The person who tastes gin and thinks they don't like it is the person I want to give a gin cocktail to. Let's talk about the reigning king of all gin categories, London Dry Gin. London Dry Gin is always going to be a distilled gin. Gin is essentially vodka that's been infused. It starts as a neutral grain spirit. The truly neutral grain spirit is then redistilled with the presence of, how do we pronounce this? Juniperus communis L. It's not communist, I promise. The neutral grain spirit and juniper, they meet and they have themselves a tryst. That's the best way to explain it. For a gin to be considered dry, it has to have less than 0.1 gram of sugar per liter. So that's some of the science. When starting on your gin journey, some people are going to try to steer you towards botanical gins. The reason is this. The juniper flavor in gin has always been controversial. It's the thing that people are afraid of. Consequently, gins have been produced to have less of this juniper flavor and more citrus, more herbs, more grass notes, more botanicals. What I've found is that this has been a disaster, and it's led to more product mistakes than it has miracles. There are exceptions. Hendrick's, in my opinion, is the standard bearer of botanically driven gin. Citadel from France, beautiful product. There's another style of gin called Plymouth that's going to be a touch sweeter and maybe has the juniper dialed back. However, when you are first getting to know your gins, London Dry is where you want to live. The classic gin and tonic is something I think everyone needs to taste. This is something a lot of people think they don't like. But the problem is they just don't like bad tonic water. When you improve your tonic water, in my opinion, you give people a chance to step into a brand new world. If you enjoy a gin and tonic, your summertime cocktail repertoire is going to explode with amazing. When selecting a quality tonic, you can never go wrong with Fever Tree. Fever Tree really revolutionized what people expect when they have soda at a bar. My strategy for getting my guests to try more gin. When I deal with guests, I never want to educate my guests. I let them educate me. Remember, I said most people are not coming in asking for gin. Consequently, that means most of my guests educate me to the fact that they do not want gin. How do I get liquid to lips without being erudite? How do I get my guests to try what I want them to try without sounding like a smartass? Well, it's impossible. I'm going to sound like a smartass no matter what I do. However, the way to have people try gin that normally wouldn't, happy hour. During happy hour, you are always going to have high sales on your Cosmo Fruitini style beverage. A blood orange martini, a blood orange Cosmo, a blood orange sour made with gin. People are going to read blood orange, they're going to order. People are going to read blood orange, they're going to read gin. They may have a moment of trepidation, but you know what? It's $6. They're going to order. Then they're going to have this cocktail and their lives are going to be absolutely changed. The juniper, the lemon, the sugar come together to make something truly beautiful. Gin wins over skeptics at first sip. I cannot stress enough the bond that forms between the public and your program when giving someone a well-crafted gin cocktail that's fruit forward. You're going to change hearts, you're going to change minds. You're also going to enrich your guest experience. Advocating for gin is one of my favorite activities as a bartender. I am able to watch someone's mindset and view of cocktails be completely transformed with just one sip. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we make a drink that matters. Come hang out with me next time and I'm going to show you 5 gins that matter that you should always have in your cabinet. As always, I want you to drink, eat, listen, and think with gusto and with glory. Cheers.